I'm going to try to give you some guidance in this two-way Anova work assignment. So right off the bat is there are three levels of preferred mode of communication. That is an IV. So your IV is mode of communication. Here's your levels. In person, email, texting. The other variable is job type, and it only has two levels, right? Administration and management. I think it says it right up here too, right? So your other IV is job type with two levels, admin and management. So here's your first IV. Let's call it IVA. The name of it is communication preference level. There's one level, two level, three levels. Going down the other way, we got the second IV. Let's call that IVB. That's the job type, and it's only got two levels. So we're going to make a giant grid, giant matrix. So you'll see how we split it up. The columns are the A levels, and the rows are the B levels. The DV in this problem is going to be sensitivity. So let me show you how to transfer that data from the SPSS sheet into our little table here. So remember, com preference A, variable A, job type is variable B. So we want all these to be ones. Watch this. You're going to right-click on that. You're going to sort ascending. So that automatically put everybody in order. You'll see the first 12 are all number ones. So the first 12 are number ones, but only the first 6 are ones on the B. So only these first 6 numbers go in that box of A1, B1. Give me a second. I'm going to fix all these decimal things. I really don't like these decimals. Decimals, yucky caca. Again, if you don't have any decimals in the actual values, get rid of them. It's a waste of zeros. More better. So this first 6 goes in the box of A1, B1. Let me cut and paste them in there. Please hold. Ta-da. So let's check out the next set of data. So from 7 down to 12, they all have a 1 for an A, but they got a 2 for a B. So that means they're going to go in the box A1, B2. So let me cut and paste these numbers in there. Those are all A1, B2. Please hold. So the next box is A2. So it's going to be the first column's got to be the 2s, and then the next column next to it has got to be the 1s. So we're looking for the 2 to 2 1s. So there's some 2s, and there's our 1s. Right? There's our A2s, and there's our B1s. So this is the data we're going to stick in that cell. Please hold. And I'm just going to go ahead and pause this, but I think you can figure this out now. But I'm just going to go ahead and put all the data in there. So hold on. So this box is 2, 2, 2, 2. So there's all our 2 2s. Okay, so that means it's going to be this data. Make sure you're using the right DV. I made that one mistake before, so. Okay, so these are going to be the first column 3, second column 1, 3 column 1, 3 column 1. So there's our 3 1s right there. So this 6 is going to be in that box. Last but not least, we're looking for the 3 2s. There's our 3 2s. So that means these are the 6 numbers that are going to go in that box. And so there's all your data. There's a reason why I set this up like this, because it's going to help me explain to you simple effects and that kind of stuff. All right, so let's go to town. First thing you got to do is calculate this two-way Anova by hand. So here's the Anova table. I'm going to go ahead and put it into our Moodle site. So here's all the bracket terms. That's what you have to calculate. Once you got the bracket terms, you can calculate the sum of squares, divide that by degrees of freedom. That gives you the mean square. Remember, your mean square of the between groups, you got 2 of them, one for your first variable, one for your second variable. When you divide that by your new error term, which is the within group interaction error term, this guy, when you divide your sum of squares from between group by your new sum of squares of your error term, your within group, that gives you your F scores. Those are the ones you're going to have to look up in a book somewhere to see if your calculated F is smaller than the book F, right, the critical F. And here's how you do it if you want to do it sideways. So you're going to do that by hand. So, but then you got to turn around and do it in SPSS. So let me pull up SPSS. And like always, you're always going to check the DV for normality. So you're going to go to Analyze, Descriptives, Explore, and this is, okay, right-click, Display Variable Names. Okay, Interperson goes in there. I'm seeing a mistake. We need to change these IVs into categorical variables, so let me cancel that. We're going to go back here to the variable view. And this top one is preference. That should be a nominal. The second one is job type. That should be a nominal. And we should always save whenever we make changes. Bam. So now we're going to redo that. So we're going to go to Analyze, Descriptives, Explore. We want interpersonal sensitivity because we're that kind of guy. And we just basically want the plots. We would probably like a histogram and a normality plot. That's going to go ahead and give you the Kolmogorov-Smirnov test for normality. That's all you got to look at it. And I'm not going to give you the results here. Okay, so, but don't forget to do that. So the second thing you're going to do is you're going to actually run the ANOVA. And you're going to go to Analyze, General Linear Model, Univariate. Your DV is your sensitivity, your fixed factors are your grouping IVs, right? And you can put stuff in there, whatever you want, plots, post hoc. With the communication preference, since you have 3 levels, you can run a Tukey test, but I think he wants the Shadak test. So let's put that in there. And I don't think job type will give you a post hoc test because you need at least 3 groups, but let's put it in there and see what happens. You're going to click continue. And options, how I do it is you click overall, make sure you got your descriptives, effect size, power, homogeneity variance test, click OK, and click OK again, and then it's going to give you the output again, which I'm not going to give you, but you're going to get a what we call it, the corrected model F. That's your omnibus F if there's a significant difference somewhere in the groups. And then it's going to look at the community preference. You're going to have an F for that one. That's the main effect F if there is one. Then it's going to drop down to job type. You're going to have a big F or a little f. That will tell you if there's a main effect of job type. And then the killer is the interaction between communication preference and job type. It's that is represented by that little asterisk between the 2 names of the variables. If there is a significant interaction, and there is, you have to look at the simple effects. Okay, so you do this one by hand. You do it in SPSS. I suggest you do it in SPSS first to make sure your calculations are relatively close. But that takes care of the first part of this homework assignment. All right, since you got an interaction, you got to look at the simple effects. This first one, he wants you to run the complete preferred modes of communications across one single level of the other IV. So let me make sure I got this right. But it looks to me like he wants you to run, strictly look at the administrators. This is going to be a simple effect. Strictly look at the administrators across in-person, email, and text. Okay? This right here, what you're going to do here is you're going to run a one-way ANOVA. Remember the one-way ANOVA data sheet, source of variance table? Boom. So you're going to redo that by hand. But again, you're only going to use this top row of data. That is a simple effect. You're looking at just the administrators for the first simple effect. And your other simple effect, you're strictly going to use the management data. You're going to run one-way ANOVA here, and then you're going to run a separate one-way ANOVA up here. That's those simple effects. And then I think later on down the road here, he wants you to look at the simple effects strictly at the in-person to see if there's a difference between the in-person people, between the administrators and the management. So this would be like a t-test here, another t-test strictly looking at the email, see if there's a difference between the admins and the management and email, and the last simple effect to see if there's a significant difference between the texters, but only between the admin and the management. Okay, so you got 5 different simple effects. You got one-way ANOVA with the admin data, one-way ANOVA with the management data, 3 different t-tests with the text, email, and in-person. And you're going to do those by hand. And then lastly, you're going to do the exact same thing, but you're going to switch DVs from the sensitivity to the timeliness. But this one, the next time you're going to do it all in SPSS. So remember, check for normality, run the two-way Anova. If there's significant interaction, you have to look at the simple effects. So let me give you a real quick shortcut in SPSS on how to look at the simple effects without giving it away. So the trick is to what we're gonna do is called split a file. It's under data. It's way down here at the bottom. Split a file. I hope you guys can see that. Split the file. And let's say I want two different Anovas. Okay, I want one for the administrators and one for the manager. What I would do is I take that job type variable, and I'm going to compare the groups. So that means I'm going to have a separate Anova for the admin scores, and then I'm going to have another separate Anova strictly for the management scores. So what you got to do is that, click OK, then you go back in and you run your Anova, right? You're going to do your general linear model, univariate. Everything's already set, so you don't have to do anything. The computer's going to see this as a split file now, and it's going to put the output into two separate Anovas. So I don't want to give it away, but here's your admin simple effect. Here's your management simple effect across all three levels of the communication types. And into very, very important, if you split a file, you got to unsplit the file after you're done, because if you don't, every time you try to run it, it's going to split the file. So that's it in a nutshell. It is a lot of work, especially the stuff by hand, but I know you can do it, and I will talk to you guys later. MGZ, out.